For the third time this summer, Brooklyn's Bedford Avenue protected bike lane is slated for demolition. The latest news is that a state appellate court ruled that the mayor can go ahead and get along with the demo, having seemingly agreed with at least some of the bad arguments made by the city's legal department. Here are the top 4 stupidest arguments that they made. Number 4, we're powerless to stop people from parking in pedestrian areas that we installed. The second the Bedford Avenue protected bike lane went in, some Hasidic leaders started saying that the design was unfit for an area where school bus drivers drop off kids mid-block. So the DOT tried to accommodate for that by painting some mid-block bus boarding islands. But since paint isn't protection, drivers frequently block them during pickup and drop-off times. And that's apparently one of the reasons that the city is giving to rip up the bike lane, because the city of New York won't establish consequences for people who park illegally in areas designed specifically to keep kids visible while crossing the street. Number 3, we are powerless to get school bus drivers to use the mid-block drop-off zones that we created for them. City lawyers told the judge that they couldn't get those school bus drivers to drop off students on those painted islands because that was, quote, not the custom in that area. So it's the custom of the school bus drivers to violate safety rules? Does that just mean that school bus drivers could start driving the wrong way down the street at 40 miles an hour and call it a custom and no one would call them out for it? Of course not. That would be ridiculous. Seems like the city's official position is, we've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas. Number 2, removing the bike lane is simply a compromise. Lawyers suggested that tearing out a life-saving piece of protected infrastructure was the compromise solution. And when I say life-saving, I mean it. DOT data shows that pedestrian and cyclist injuries along this portion of Bedford Avenue have gone down by 47% since the protected lane was installed. But of course, the idea of a compromise is stretched way past its breaking point when one side gets its maximal demand and the other side gets fucked. Number 1, actually, don't believe our data. It really seems like someone at the city's law department or at the Department of Transportation really wants to tank any and all street safety efforts in New York City. Because how else do you explain that they basically told the judge that the NYPD and DOT's traffic crash data is garbage? Like I said, the DOT's own data showed a 47% reduction in cyclist and pedestrian injuries on these blocks since the protected lane went in. But the city's legal department argues that since Hatzalah, a private ambulance service, is primarily used by the Hasidic community, and the DOT didn't try hard enough to get Hatzalah's records when compiling its own data, we actually have to throw all of the statistics out the window. And that means the bike lane's gotta go. Come Wednesday night, we'll see the data-proven safety gains begin to evaporate when the lane is torn out. And of course, nobody's gonna use this fiasco to make the case that the city DOT cooks the books to get the outcomes that it wants. That would be ridiculous.